Yeah, good yourself.
I'm good. Thank you.
That's good. Wow, that's a lot of DVDs or books or whatever behind you.
Oh, they're DVDs.
Wow, that's a lot of
I gotta have the, since I'm called World Film Geek, I gotta have something.
Wow.
But I gotta say, man, I watched the Reef Stalked yesterday, and this movie was great. I'm so glad you did a sequel to this. I saw the original a while back, and it was great to return to that, but with
great.
a new story. And I thought it was even better than the original, quite frankly. I think probably
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad I've gone uphill, not downhill.
yeah, I think the reason is because the protagonist here is suffering, is more in depth. Is that she has PTSD in this one, and I think that's what.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on with the characters. Yeah.
So how did you decide to come up with a sequel so many years later? How did this all come about?
That's a good question. People would come to me constantly with shark ideas, but they were all pretty just B grade, sort of not that interesting, just cash grab type stuff. And then I've been interested in social issues, but domestic violence in the sense that it's a bad thing here in Australia. And I went and saw a play actually called Lethal Indifference, which is all about it. And as I was sitting in the theatre, I just looked around and there was this very white middle class audience, and I just thought, this is a very small select audience. It'd be great to try and get this message out to a wider audience, and maybe I can do that through one of my films. And then I made the connection, because I surf, that sharks are called the man in the grey suit by surfers. That's what they generally tend to call them. And so I just went, oh well, there's the man in the grey suit, and I know how to make a shark film, and there's this thing about domestic violence. And so I just started trying to wrap the two together, and it took me about a year to get the script all together. And but yeah, that's how it grew, and that's why I was prepared to do it again, because it felt more elevated. It had more of a challenge. I always want to progress in what I'm doing, no doubt everyone does, and it felt just to do another shark film would have been kind of not progressing, but this, because it had more of a story to it, more about relationships, it felt like a progression.
Yeah, and the cast was phenomenal in this, hands down. I mean, Teresa Liang was awesome in this one. I liked her evolution. Yeah, she was great, and how she going from the strong-willed to now someone who's stricken with PTSD. But then you go reverse with Saskia's character, where she was the lazy younger sister, and then she's now the headstrong, older, the headstrong sister. Yeah, I like that. I like that they both got to go to both sides of the spectrums, and and Anne was amazing in this as she's kind of like the middle bridge between the two. And overall, the cast was great in this. What was it like with them? It must have been like intense, especially with sharks and all.
Yeah, no, it was very intense to film. Filming water, it always is like, a normal set, you just get there and people are setting up lights on land and all that. And here you have to start the day by getting into a wetsuit, which you don't get out of till 10 hours later. Then you have to catch a boat, get into boats and go across to the water where you're going to film. Then you get out of the boat and get into the water, and then everything, your wind or anything, you blow water and it just destroys. So I had to have waterproof paper. And one day I didn't, and the wind picked my script up and just threw it across, and I was left with this mush. I was just going, what do I do now? And camera gear and all this high tech stuff that can't go near water, and you're on water, and then the kayaks are moving around and people having to control those, and yeah, it was really difficult, especially when it got windy, like, because we weren't in a tank, we were out on the beach. We were subject to the elements, and the wind. The place we went to is called Bowen, and the locals call it Blown Bowen. I don't know what we were thinking. Well, actually, we were sheltered, but we still got some days really high winds, and that's not good on the water, and then rain and stuff. So it was a tough shoot.
And I gotta say, the cinematography in this was some of the best I've seen, especially when there's the scene where Kate's character is on the kayak and she sees a shark. All of a sudden, you see her flip over out of nowhere under the water. That had to be one of the best shots I've ever seen in a movie, like a best action shot. How was that accomplished? Like, you don't really get to see that in even major Hollywood films. You don't get to see anything like that. How was that accomplished? That just
no, thank you, and I'm sure the DP Justin Brickle would appreciate your kind words there. I think it is well shot. That one was a real trick one, in the sense that I'm pretty sure that one, and I might get it wrong. We attached a GoPro to the front of the kayak so that when the thing tipped, the whole camera went with it. And yeah, as you say, we followed the girl going under, and we're just with her. So yeah, I think, yeah, so we used little cameras, we use drones as everyone does, I guess, these days, and big cameras. But yeah, we're trying to mix it up as much as possible.
That's interesting. So how long did the shooting take? And you pretty much described, but how long was shooting on the film?
Yeah, it was only 24 days, so it was a pretty fast shoot.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. Okay. Yeah. And the sharks were the sharks real when they grabbed everyone? What was the actual sharks? Was that like done?
Yeah, they're real sharks.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Especially seeing where Saskia's character is like hauled over. I thought I wasn't sure if that was a real shark or if that was something like Jaws, when he did like that's insane. Like, what did they train these sharks? Like, what happened? Did you like train these sharks or something? Because that's just crazy.
As I just said to someone, it's the secret recipe. I can't go too far into how we do the sharks, but I'm glad you enjoyed them.
It did. That was crazy. And the one character I really felt bad. Well, at first I felt bad for the kids, and that one scene.
Yeah.
And especially the girl, because she gets bit, and oh my god, I was like, my heart was actually wrenching during that scene. And
yeah, are you a dad?
Yes, I have 4. Yeah, so just imagine.
Yeah, there you go. Ever since I became a dad, anytime there's a kid about to get hurt, I just go, oh my god, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. That pain, you just start to feel that pain. Because I think the girl is like as old as one of my kids, so that's why it even hurt me more. I'm like, oh my god. But I felt that was a great break from like the main story, because it was more of a subplot, but I felt it was an important one because they had the idea of how to evade the sharks and everything. So I think it worked out. I think that totally worked out fine.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear. Yeah, it was tricky working with kids, as you can imagine. I mean, they're both great kids, don't get me wrong, but it just always is, because you're trying to pull her through water and stuff, and it's just hard for a kid to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So is there going to be are we going to see a third Reef in a few years in this?
Well, if someone brings me an elevated...
That's the big question, because hopefully we're not waiting for 10 years.
Well, if someone brings me an elevated script that I feel has something to say, then possibly.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I feel like with this one, I mean, we got to see. I felt, like I said, I felt this was better than the first one, because we have a more in-depth of the characters. We have more. We know them. We can resonate with these characters.
Yeah,
I think that's what drives a film. If you have characters that resonate with the story, even when you're facing the elements, that's what's going to make it a lot better. And I think that's what this film does.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Albert.
So I hope everyone gets to check out the Reef Stalked. It's going to theaters. It's going to demand. It's going to digital, and it's going to stream exclusively on Shudder on the 29th. And I hope everyone gets to see this. If they liked the first Reef, I think they're going to be surprised, because this one I felt was better than the original. And Andrew, thank you so much for bringing us the sharks again and bringing us more. Thank you for bringing us, and I hope you get to bring it again for a third time down the road.
Oh, wow.
I would love to see. I would love to see that happen. And let's hopefully it'll be as good as Stalked.
Thank you so much, Albert. That's great praise.
All right, you take care, and I hope you stay safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.